Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, July 8th. I hope everybody had a good 4th of July weekend, long weekend, whatever you did, whether you were with your family, your friends, by yourself, whatever you did. I hope you had a good time, a nice, fun day, holiday weekend, whatever you did, whatever you want to call it. I hope you enjoyed yourself. That's really what it's all about nowadays. You just got to enjoy yourself, whether that be with yourself, your family, your friends, whatever you did. I just hope that you enjoyed your weekend. I really do. It's a good time just to have some fun, chill out, relax, talk to people, talk to family, talk to your friends. It was a good weekend for me in that sense. I had a lot of fun. Went to my friend's house. He barbecued. He really treated us like his guests. He was the king, man. He's the best. He had a good host, a lot of good food, good festivities, good games, good drinks. We had a lot of fun there, and that's really what it all comes down to for what I think about holidays and spending it with your friends. You just got to have a good time. As much as you bad things might be going on in your life, bills, whatever, family issues, whatever. You always got to try to make it, that you reserve time in your life to have some fun. You reserve the time, whether it be to, on holidays, whatever. Just make sure you put in the time to have that kind of fun and to have that kind of engagement with your friends and your family. And I was very fortunate that I was able to do that this past weekend with my friends and really just have a good time. As you know, it was the 4th of July weekend. You get barbecues, you get fireworks, you get games, you get drinks, whether that be soda or alcohol. You just have fun and let loose. And I think I would have had a better time if I didn't buy Phantom branded fireworks. Now, I went to get the fireworks pretty late in the day, like maybe around 3:15 p.m. And I know that you're guessing, you're saying like, why would you go that late? Why would you even try to go that late and get those fireworks? And if you don't know, I live in California where you can't buy fireworks that are the cool kind, the fun kind that go up in the air and they go boom, colors, all that stuff. We don't have that here. I mean, you can do it. You can't go to another state and buy them and bring it back here and do that. You shouldn't, but people do it anyway. They do it every year. They do it all the time. I've never done it, but they do it all the time. But I've never had that experience of lighting those type of fireworks. I'm just used to the cardboard box, the little tube or whatever you put on. You put it in the middle of your street, you light it, and then it just goes crack, crack, pop, and then that's it. Usually I do buy a variety pack, and I did again this year too. I bought $100 variety pack from Phantom, and you're going to say Alex, that's really expensive. But dude, fireworks in general are super duper expensive, really expensive. That pack cost me $100, like I said, and then I bought 2 individual fireworks. They were pretty decent sized. I thought that they were pretty big. They could have been used for the finale. And those cost me $30 each, around $30, $35 each. And still, we went through the box and we weren't competing, but we were letting another family across the street go when we didn't go. So we were kind of switching off between fireworks. We were giving each other a nice fireworks show. And I got to say, my fireworks, every time we lit them, they disappointed every single time. I mean, they really did. Talk about very little firepower. They didn't get that high. They were very short. They didn't last very long. I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because of the pack, or maybe just the brand itself is just not that quality. But they just weren't very good. And I was disappointed because I was I spent $100 and some on this. I mean, we did pitch in, and I got some reimbursement money because we decided to pitch in for fireworks, and I just got what I could get because the stand alone just had one variety box left and a couple individual ones that were just kind of mediocre. But I thought that I got the bigger ones, so I was just still kind of disappointed that mine still weren't that good. And I was just sitting there the entire time because the family across the street from us, they had a pretty good ones. Theirs reached high up in the air. They were long, they were loud, and they were just putting mine to shame. So I was just oh my God, I feel like an absolute idiot here. I couldn't even get the good fireworks or whatever. Now, I could have gone to TNT or another stand, but I just went there because I was kind of running late, and I wanted to get to my friend's house, sooner than I did. And I was just okay, whatever, I'll just, pick these up quick and I'll just go. And again, they were pretty much running on fumes there. They didn't have much left, so I just kind of got whatever there was left, and I went there. But other than that, it was a fun day. It was a fun, um, it was fun. But I do wanna say that I did had a little fun with my drinking with my friends. I hadn't gotten that drunk in like over a year and a half, I think. I mean, I was pretty wasted, but it wasn't because I was just sitting back and sipping on drinks and all that. We were playing some drinking games, which, in my opinion, if you put those in like a major sports league, you can have some pretty crazy entertainment right there. Like, I mean, like playing beer pong is super fun, but it's like pretty much impossible if you're drunk already. And if you are going to be drinking, that's the part of the game, right? You're just going to get even more and more drunk. And like, if you think about it, beer pong, you have to harness your accuracy, your patience, and your ability to like try to like concentrate hard enough to get those balls in those cups, or that ball in those cups. But it's like, bro, I mean, when you're drunk, all those like abilities and like your accuracy, your patience, your concentration is just gone by that time. So just like it's pretty much like it's not even like even a competition at that point. It's just for pure entertainment. So I could only imagine if anybody would have wanted to put that as like a major sport or something like that. That would like be selling like that would be so entertaining to watch. Just somebody like some people would just get absolutely plastered and try to play some beer pong. Like, just imagine that how fun that could be, and how fun that would like kind of like just like it would be amazing to watch, in my opinion. I mean, like, you can get like so much passion and so much anger and so much joy all in like one game pretty much. And I feel like when I play beer pong and when I play like a drinking game or any type of game really, if I'm like buzzed or whatever, I get super into it, like super into it. Like, I get into it like if I'm sober too, but if I'm like got some drinks in me, I mean, it's like life and death for me. Like, I was like focusing up really hard, slamming my hand on the table. I was yelling, I was shouting, I was cursing, I was taunting the other team. I was doing everything that you could possibly imagine to try to get an upper hand, trying to win. I believe we won one game, I think, but one of the games just like went on, dragged on forever and ever, just because we couldn't get the last cup. And I was just like, dude, like, this is taking it out of me. I can't continue with it. I can't keep doing this. This is just insane. And then we decided to play some flip cup, which is, if you don't know, you have like a couple, I think it's like 3 cups, and you gotta drink one, and then you gotta put it at the edge, so the bottom is already, on the edge, and you gotta flip it so it lands on the side that you drink from, the opening. You gotta get it to land there. But that, again, is another game that requires patience and concentration, and just being able to not really like do it precision, delicacy. You got to be really, really careful, and you really got to be what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know, but you got to be super like precise with it, because you can't mess up, because if you do, your other teammates just your opponent's just going to blow right past you. And that again just calls for more patience and concentration, which is like, dude, nobody at that point in the game is like even at that able to concentrate that hard. So it just makes it even more and more entertaining. So it's like, why do we make that a major sport? Or like maybe we'll have like drunk Olympics or drunk sports, whatever, that could be a fun thing to do. Or I would pay to watch that, I think. That'd be super fun. I mean, like, just imagine, like, you be rooting for like some guy. It could be like the hot dog eating contest. I mean, like, we have that. We have people just scarfing hot dogs, until they, can't do it anymore. And every time I watch it, it's like, it's kind of gross. But at the end of the day, it's still entertaining as fuck. Like, Joey Chestnut just shovels in hot dogs like it's just part of him. Like, he needs all that food to survive. He needs 75 or whatever, how many hot dogs that he ate to live. I mean, like, just imagine that. You look at a hot dog and it's like, what, maybe like, I don't know, 8 inches maybe. you ate like 75 of those. I can't even eat like 3 in a sitting. I'm like stuffed. I'm like done. I can't like my stomach just doesn't have the capacity to fit all that. You look at the big gigantic plate of hot dogs that they consume, right, in that short period of time, and how fast they're eating it. Like, where on earth is all that food stored? It boggles my mind, because your stomach isn't even that big if you think about it. It's like maybe the size of a fist. And over time, if you eat a lot of food, it expands, right? But still, how much does it have to expand to actually fit 75 hot dogs in there? I just don't get it. Bun, too. Not just the weenies, but the bun. I don't get it. I never understood it, but it was always so fascinating how these people were able to just shovel it down and not throw up within that moment. Continue it and continue going on. And I know, like, a lot of them like to use like water, dip your hot dog in water and just kind of like, shove it down. But it's still like, I mean, at what point do you feel like hot dog actually in your esophagus? Like, is it that high? Like, does it rise all the way? Does it fill you up to the brim that it's just gotta, leak into your esophagus or whatever? I don't even know. Like, it's just so baffling and just so astonishing. So if we can have that, if we can actually see people like get sick on camera because they eat so many hot dogs, why can't we see people actually play beer pong, drunk as a skunk, potentially throwing up, but being like, I just feel like that would be so entertaining to see people do that, because you get so many different personalities when people are drunk that it would just be like eyes glued to the TV. I don't see how that isn't already a thing. I just feel like that's a goldmine right there. But it's like, you think about that stuff and you wonder, like, what else could be made into that kind of entertainment? We got eating, potentially drunk games. People watch poker, for entertainment. They televise poker as it's called a sport, Like, I always thought about that. Like, how is poker a sport, really? It pretty much is all luck, right? You can't really... I'm sure you can't even count the cards or whatever. You can't, like, really prepare for poker to be like, okay, it's going to go this way or that way. It's just, it's pretty much like, I guess that there is, like, a certain amount of possibilities that a card could land, or a hand that you could have, but it's just like, you can't really, like, predict that all that well, right? I would feel like that. Like, how did that even become a thing? I guess the whole thing about gambling and all that is very, like, people, can get addicted to gambling, and that's pretty much why poker could be so popular, because so many people can get into it, whether it be like super high stakes or, playing for chips. You get that rush of like, oh, I could lose everything right here, or I could win everything plus more. Like, it's just got that, I don't know what it is, that it releases some kind of addictive thing that it's just like, oh, I gotta keep doing it. And I get it, I get it. When I play poker, when I play it on, like, I don't know, like, there's some games have the ability to play poker, like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto. They have like this, like, blackjack or poker thing that you can actually play in those fucking games. And even in real life too, I play, that too. It's very, very fun. But I just feel like that stuff, it's like we already pretty much have like a endless possibility of what you can make into a sport or make into entertainment. Like, I've even seen on ESPN, they have like cornhole championships. If you don't know what that is, it's like you get like a bag of beans or whatever, a bag of corn. I don't even know why it's called that, but you toss it at this board that's kind of slanted with a little hole in it, and you got to try and get it in there. But if you get it on the board, that's also points too. But you mainly want to get it into the board and into the hole. Sorry. But it's like, to me, that's like not that entertaining. But I could see why people would like it, why it would be cool, why you would be drawn to it. It is in a way, a competition that can provide some entertainment. And it's just like, what point do we just say, no, that can't be a sport, or no, that can't be used to provide entertainment, or no, we're not going to televise that, or we don't want to show people that, or whatever. I think it's because if you go back to the drinking games, if you go back to flip cup, or beer pong, I think it's got to be the thing, but it's just involving alcohol and involving, like, televising people drunk and intoxicated. It's got to be that, because like, as much as we are an alcohol-consuming culture and country, there are so many beer commercials, liquor commercials, seltzers commercials out there. We have so many. Our TV networks and channels flood ad space with alcohol commercials. But do we show anybody drinking the alcohol? Never, if you think about it. Never. Like in any commercial, whether it be, Bud Light, Budweiser, Coors, Coors Light, White Claw, any type of liquor, Crown Royal, Jack Daniels, Heineken, nobody actually consumes the liquor or the alcohol in the commercial, ever. So I think it's just a thing we can promote it all we want and show the bottle, show it being cracked open, show it being poured, but the act of drinking it is a no-no, which is so bizarre because it's we already have so many and we already know the rules. You got to be 21 or older to consume. So it's why can't we just, move on from that? We know that's a law in the States, and just make it into entertainment. I don't understand why. Would you have to make it an adult type of entertainment? Because you are kind of using alcohol, consuming alcohol, people are intoxicated, and that's why it'll have to be more of an adult thing? I don't know. I've always wondered that, why do we have so many beer commercials and beer product placement everywhere, but nobody can really drink it or consume it? They just got to show it off. And they just got to rely on everybody else to you know what to do. You know what this is for. You know who this is for. Is not for kids. This is for adults. But we already kind of know that though. So it's and we already know the rules too. The law actually. So it's why the hell are we just beating behind the bush and saying you can't drink it on camera. You can't drink. You can't consume this. I don't know what it is, but it's just kind of at the point in time in 2021. It's we already know that. We already get that. Let's just kind of utilize it now and I think it would be peak entertainment. I mean, I really do. I get it's just, I don't know. I really don't know. I just feel nowadays and all these corporations and all these companies, it's just bro, we already know what it's for and who is allowed to drink it. It's just go for it now. Just go for it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's got to be the SEC guidelines or whatever. How you can't I don't know. I think it's I think it's not on cable, but local television. You can't have anybody cursing or saying obscenities or profanities on TV until 10 p.m. Because technically that's when all the kids should be asleep and not on the TV. And then it's from 10 to I believe 6 a.m. is when they go back to clean TV of no cursing, no obscenities, no profanities, nothing. So I believe it's kind of like that. You kind of want to just be kids could watch it and all that, and it could be in the eyes of a minor, and we don't want to promote that. I guess that would be the main goal of not, promoting, public intoxication, whether it be beer pong or flip cup or beer die, whatever you want to call it, any other game. I'm guessing that might be the reason. But all in all, it's just come on. I mean, I think it would be really, really fun to watch, fun to root for. I mean, they have freaking esports now. People playing video games broadcast on ESPN and TBS. It's how much, again, the word entertainment is so, you can categorize that with pretty much anything nowadays. So it's it's only a matter of time before they actually start televising or, streaming, I guess you could say, beer pong or flip cup. I mean, it's got to be coming. And I'm not saying you need to watch it, but I just feel being in that situation and being in that environment of actually playing those games with friends and, friends and all that. I mean, we have the best time, so it's it's got to translate somehow. It's got to be that has to be a universally thing that's, that could be, enjoyed. I'm not saying you got to be a big drinker and all that to enjoy that. I don't drink every single day, but when I do, I have some fun with it. And also other people that do play it, they don't drink either, but they do have fun with it. They don't drink a lot. Maybe they drink mildly, but it's not they're gigantically, out of control the entire time. I mean, sometimes you can be, and sometimes I have been, but still, it's it's fun. You're with your friends. You're with the people that you love, that you love to spend time with and have fun with. And it's just another thing that you can have fun. And it's you don't have to, people say you don't got to be drunk to have fun. That's true. You don't have to be drunk to have fun. But it is fun to also be like kind of buzzed or drunk with your friends. It just is. You can't say that it isn't, because sometimes it is. Other times it's not, though. You just got to be careful. Also, drink responsibly if you are above 21. But yeah, this all spun off just because of having fun on the 4th of July with your friends, with your family, whatever you did. I hope you had a good time and that you were just able to enjoy it, soak it all in. We didn't really have festivities last year because of what, so I just hope everybody had a good time and everyone was able to cherish those moments and let it soak on in and just have the best time of your life, really, because you never know when you're going to have like a time like that ever again. I mean, I haven't been that drunk in over a year and a half. It's been a while, and I don't usually like getting that drunk, but it sort of happens. But it's not something that I strive to every time I drink. It really isn't. So it's like, when it happens, just, let it happen and ride the wave. That's what I always, that's kind of like what I think when it just happens. Like, okay, it happened, whatever. Ride the wave. But it was fun, though. I had a lot of fun, and we all did. It was a lot of fun. We've got a little bit of a news/entertainment story today, people. Now, I was blessed to find this story today on Twitter. I was looking, I was jiving, digging, whatever you want to call it. I was just seeing, what is something that will catch my eye today? I was going to the Twitter trending or whatever every day just to see what's happening, what people are talking about, whether it be this or that, entertainment, sports, celebrities, politics, whatever. I'd like to see what people are talking about. And today, a list from Variety titled 15 Best SpongeBob SquarePants Episodes Ranked. And immediately, if you follow my Twitter, I retweeted it with a quote. And I won't say it right now, but I tweeted an episode, I quoted an episode that I think that they didn't get on this list that should have been on this list, in my opinion. So I'm going to go through this list and give a little bit of a description of these episodes of what they picked, and kind of just if you watch SpongeBob, you might know it off the bat, but if you hadn't, or if you didn't, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a backstory on the episodes and what I think about them, I guess. Okay, so let's get started. This is an article by Jordan Moreau and Catsy Stephan and David Viramontes by Variety, and it was published today. So this is quite the treat, people. Quite the treat. So before I'm going to get into it, they already listed, before you read the article and what they said about the episodes, they gave some honorable mentions, and I'll just name them right off the bat. So some of their honorable mentions are Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, Shanghai, Arg, Squidville, Sailor Mouth, Sandy, SpongeBob and the Worm, The Secret Box, Dying for Pie, and Jellyfish Hunter. So already off the bat, I think that some of them might have made my personal top 15 list, but we'll go and we'll discuss and we'll go through these episodes, because for me, I was a big SpongeBob fan back in the day. I thought it was a super funny show, very entertaining, kind of on the edge a bit. If you watch some of the episodes, you can kind of see some adult humor in it, which is kind of silly and funny today. If you go back and watch the episodes now, I think they're all on Paramount Plus, so you can watch them on there. But I was always a big fan of SpongeBob. I enjoyed the humor, the characters, the setting was so fun. SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward were the best trio in animated cartoon character history. I think they were just so funny. They were so different. They were so unique. They were outrageous, comedic. Different voices, clearly. Everybody, they were so different from each other that it made the show pop. Really, it did. And when it came out, I believe in 1999, I was already engulfed in a bunch of cartoons. It was SpongeBob, Hey Arnold, Doug, and even to Cartoon Network, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed, Edd n Eddy, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, later to come, The Fairly Odd Parents. So I was such a big, old school, to me, 90s type of cartoon type of guy. So SpongeBob was just another gem in the bag. It was just so good. It was so entertaining. You had the 30-minute runtime slot with 2 episodes in it. It was just the best. It was so good. So let's start with number 15. Number 15 is Something Smells. If you don't remember, this episode is when SpongeBob has to make his own makeshift sundae because he's out of ice cream, and he uses a bunch of just disgusting ingredients that just like ketchup, onions, peanut plant, and all that. It was really like gross type of way. It was really gross. It was always funny because SpongeBob always had this emphasis on disgusting things in that show, like whether the character would have like a zit on his face and it would like zoom in like microscopically, you would see like a giant red dot that would be spewing out blood like it was a goddamn volcano. It was so funny in that way, and like I just remember seeing the Sunday when he made it. It would be like a zoomed in, artistically painted version of it, and would just be so disgusting. You could see like the smelly fumes coming off of it. It was so funny and comedic in the way that they did that, just to emphasize some of the disgusting things on that show. One of the best things I think that a cartoon has ever done is when they do that. And I just thought, again, you would laugh every time because it would be so outrageous and over the top that it would just make you laugh. I mean, it was just so funny. Anyways, moving on with the episode. He eats it, he walks around, and everybody's avoiding him because everybody's like, like, they pretty much like die when he sees him, or they just run away because his breath is so smelly. And he doesn't know that because he can't, you don't really smell your own breath, typically, if it does smell. So he's walking around, everybody's like, oh, and just running away or dying right in front of him. And it's funny, and he's just wondering, he's going insane because he doesn't know why everybody doesn't want to be with him or be next to him, really. And then it's so funny. And then Patrick obviously doesn't help because he doesn't have a nose, so he can't really smell anything. And then they get a realization at the end, like, oh, it was a sundae that you ate that made your breath so smelly. That's why everybody doesn't want to be around you. It's not because you're ugly, because that was a whole thing that's like, he's like, they hate me because I'm ugly and all that. So it's a very good episode. It's a very funny episode. And it's also something that you kind of like can relate to in like life, like, or be careful to, make sure you don't eat anything too smelly. You brush your teeth and all that. For kids, it's like, it's a good lesson to be like, you got to brush your teeth and make sure that your breath doesn't smell. They're not going to call you ugly or you don't think that you're ugly, but just be aware that that's the thing that occurs later on in life, especially when you become an adult. I can't tell you how many times that you can talk to somebody for a while and just be distracted by their breath and just holding your breath whenever they talk. It happens all the time, For me, at least, it's happened many, many times. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, do you not smell that? And it's clearly obvious that they can't do it. They can't smell it because, sometimes they don't brush their teeth, or they just don't notice it. And it's just like, come on, man. I'm fucking dying here. I'm suffocating. Help yourself to help me, please. So that's a good place, I think, to put that episode. It's not the best, but it is got just such really good fundamentals of life. Just brush your teeth and make sure you smell good. Or don't eat, like, super disgusting smellingly foods that'll make your breath smell for the entire day, or just brush your teeth more often. But it's so funny. It's a good episode, and with 15, I think I could see it there, but I might have put it a bit higher, but we'll see. Number 14 is Rock Bottom, and this is the episode where SpongeBob and Patrick go to Glove World, and they go on the bus trying to get back home, but the bus takes a wrong turn or a detour, falls down a cliff all the way to the rock bottom of the ocean, and it's just like you get all these like type of fish that are like, you would see like in Finding Nemo, like with a light bulb over their head, got a lot of like big jagged teeth, transparent fish, ugly fish, just bizarre looking fish. And like they got like 3 eyes, 1 eye, whatever you want to call it. But like, it was funny because it's like the bus leaves without SpongeBob, so he's just there the entire time. Trying to he's super hungry, but he's got to wait for the bus. They got this running on joke where if he just misses the bus stop by like a second, he'll miss a bus and they just already go up back. So it's kind of it's that in that way it's funny, but for me personally, I think it's a little bit repetitive in some points. It's just him like basically just like waiting for the bus to come back up. And it is funny to see him like kind of like have like a mental breakdown and all that. But it's also just like, for me, I'm talking like I'm a reviewer of SpongeBob. I mean, like I'm a 27-year-old guy reviewing a television show made for kids. But it's just like, I don't know. It was never one of my favorite ones, but it was funny, entertaining. At the end, there's a big payoff. He gets back up to the sea. Spoiler alert, or back to his home. So it's a good episode. I don't think I would have put it at 14. I don't think it would have cracked my top 15. Personally, I think that it's just a little bit repetitive, like I said, and it's just okay. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Patrick's in it too, so it's like, the more Patrick you can get, the better. But I don't know. I just felt like it was a little bit repetitive. Number 13, we're moving on. Culture shock. In this episode, Mr. Krabs, calls his employees, which are just Patrick or SpongeBob and Squidward, to do a talent show at the Krusty Krab. And I think that this one was super funny because it's kind of like a Squidward is clearly not as funny or not as entertaining as SpongeBob. And you see it throughout the talent show. Squidward, he's a big. He tries so hard to be good in life, but everything that SpongeBob does is just better. Everything. He couldn't even be doing it like 100%. He could just be doing it half-assed, and everybody would be like, SpongeBob is better. SpongeBob is better. So it's just like another episode of showing like how little like Squidward, how maybe the writers just don't like Squidward, but like just how much SpongeBob just dunks on Squidward every time because. I mean, he comes out with his clarinet, which he's never good at. He does some weird dancing. And then SpongeBob would just do like one little small thing, like, I don't know, like sweep up some dust or whatever. And then you just get a round of applause. And it's just funny because like everything that Squidward does is just nothing. Like he can play like an actually good song of the clarinet and nobody would clap for him. It's just really funny. And it goes back to the core, I think, which is SpongeBob. Those early days of SpongeBob is not necessarily the beef, but like the Squidward being like, how the fuck does everybody like this guy and not me type of thing. Like, if you think about it, like Squidward to me is super funny because he gets trolled on by SpongeBob and he tries so hard for everybody to like him, but nobody just nobody wants to like him as much as they love SpongeBob. So it's just funny to watch that actually play out and it not be like it's so obvious too that you're watching it like just saying everybody just doesn't like this guy. And it's just super funny to watch and just do it. And I get a kick out of it. It's just so fun. Again, the better episodes of SpongeBob were the earlier days when it's just SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward centric. Sandy too was really good. And then Plankton, you add him. But SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward were just like, again, the meat and the potatoes of that show. And just this is just, hitting all the points with a good SpongeBob episode. Number 12 is No Weenies Allowed, which if you don't know is like SpongeBob is trying to get into the salty spittoon. He's got to be rough and tough, but obviously like he's a sponge, he's weak, he's wimpy, he's kind of nerdy, he's kind of not a tough guy really, and he's just trying to get into there because he wants to be a tough guy, but he just doesn't fit the tough persona of him like being a sponge and all that. So again, it's like it's kind of funny because like he's at like this Weenie Hut bar where they serve like milkshakes and sundaes and all that, bunch of ice creams, and he's got like these two fish that look like actual hot dogs. And he's like, I'm not a weenie, you're the weenie all the time. And it's like a blatant, like, actual, like, stereotype joke on the fucking fish that looks like a goddamn weenie. So it's so funny in that way because it's just like, you make fun of people that you see, oh, you got big fucking ears. What are you, Dumbo? Like that. It's like, it's kind of relatable in a way. Or you got a big fucking, you're fat and you got a white beard, you're fucking Santa Claus or whatever. This guy looks like Santa Claus. It's just like that kind of making fun of. It's not like anything like discrimination. No, it's not like that. It's just poking fun at your appearance. Or you wear that stupid hat all the time, like fucking Indiana Jones, whatever. I don't know. It's just something like that. That was so funny, and it's just, it goes on to, more of like SpongeBob and Patrick trying to get into the salty spittoon, but they failing after failing, and he's trying to get all these disguises and trying to get into there. And it's just a funny episode. It's a good SpongeBob and Patrick episode, and a bit dash of Sandy because Sandy's a tough girl. She can get it. She's a goddamn squirrel, by the way. She can actually like kill every fish if she wanted to. So it's just funny to watch. It's fun to watch. I enjoyed that episode quite a bit. I think I would rate that actually a little bit higher than 13. I think that one is really solid in a way of like just like the goofiness of the situation, the a little bit of adult humor, the inside jokes, the nautical nonsense. I think that deserves a little bit of a raise. I think actually, for it to be at number 12, I think it's a little bit disrespectful. I think it's more than I think it just should be higher on that. I would have put that a lot higher, I think. Number 11 is Survival of the Idiots, and it's when SpongeBob and Patrick dive into Sandy's dome, trying to get play with Sandy, have some fun. But it's spring, or it's wintertime, and so she's hibernating. She's getting all fat. She's all fat from eating all her walnuts or whatever. And they stumble on in there, and they discover that Sandy's so fat and so like she like reverted back to her primal days of like a savage squirrel. So it's so funny because like they wake her up by like ripping off her hair, or just waking her up, and then they just get this rabid ass squirrel that is like sleep deprived, trying to sleep and all that, and just like roars and shit. And it's so funny because it's like you never expect that of Sandy to act like that, because you see her and she's just like a cute little squirrel, but it's like now she's a goddamn beast. So that whole aspect of it is just funny in general because you wouldn't expect that. So like she's like an actual monster, and she's growling, she's roaring, she's snarling. It's so funny to see. And that brought up the whole thing about I'm Dirty Dan and all that. It's just like a little thing that some people kind of bring back today, like I'm Dirty Dan, no, I'm Dirty Dan. It's just something that if you watched it, you know what it is automatically. I'm sure that's a big one, one of the bigger episodes, one of the favorite episodes if you talk to somebody who's watched SpongeBob. But it's a funny episode regardless. I think that's a good place for it though. It's not like a super like out there episode where you can get so many inside jokes or so much, a little bit more of the adult humor aspect. But it is funny. It is silly. It's definitely SpongeBob and Patrick cuisine, if you would say, just nonsense, just idiocy. Again, it's called the Survival of the Idiots. So like they're not holding back on the title of saying like, yeah, these guys are fucking idiots. It's just funny. It's pure comedy. I think 11 is a good spot for it. I think, in my opinion, I think it's definitely better. I think than I don't think it's better than what is it? Which one? Something Smells. I think that one should be higher. I think, but I don't like hate where it is on this list at 11. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. I think that there's certainly the ones that are coming later are going to be better, I would assume, but like we'll see. So Survival of the Idiots is number 11 on this list. So now we're into the top 10 episodes. Now these should be, notoriously the better episodes of SpongeBob ever. So we're at the Club SpongeBob, which is, if you don't know, is when SpongeBob and Patrick climb up the treehouse that they build, and then they get and then Squidward comes along as like, get out of there, and then they get launched to this like kelp forest, from in their treehouse, and then it's just like the SpongeBob, the Patrick, the Squidward, the bickering, the idiocy, the nonsense of like they have this conch shell that will listen to whoever like pulls the string and grant a wish or whatever. But it's like they always do it for SpongeBob and Patrick, but whenever they do it to Squidward, is nothing happens. And it's just so funny because again it's another mockery and making fun of episode of Squidward, and it hits home on all points of like how funny SpongeBob and Patrick react to it, how Squidward is just again losing his goddamn mind again, but on like a bigger scale. Like he just like loses it at one point, and it just goes absolutely insane that it just they're eating food while he's like malnourished, not even eating anything because the conch won't let him eat. It's so funny, it's so outrageous, and it's so like, again, the writers absolutely bashing on Squidward. But again, that's like the whole point of it. That's why we like SpongeBob and Patrick, and we just love to make fun of Squidward. It's just like a thing that they do, but it's so funny when they do it. I just can't help but laugh when they do it. It's just so funny, but they nail it every single time. It's like, oh my God, this is happening again, but I love it. And they do it in such a funny, clever way of like, how can we get these guys actually, by themselves, not able to leave or diverge or whatever, but they have to stay in the situation. Fucking put them stranded in a kelp forest. Strand them in a kelp forest. Do that. So that was super funny. 10, I think that's a pretty good spot. I think it could be a little bit higher, but I enjoy that episode so much that I remember I just rewatched that over and over as a kid just because of how much they made fun and they just bashed on Squidward. It was just so funny to watch. Again, Squidward is kind of the butt of the joke a lot, but they do it so well in this show. It's just so funny. So that's at number 10. Number 9 is Welcome to the Chum Bucket, and I had to read up on this, or the description of it, because I hadn't remembered it that much. I didn't remember what it was. So it's basically when Mr. Krabs loses SpongeBob to Plankton in a game of cards. So Mr. Krabs bets SpongeBob in a game of cards against Plankton, and to cook for the chum bucket. And so he loses, obviously, and then Plankton puts him in to the chum bucket, the kitchen to work. And Mr. Krabs, the entire thing is just like a heartfelt type of, I think it's more of they burst into song a couple times. It shows you how much SpongeBob meant to Mr. Krabs and the Krusty Krab and everything like that. And it just shows you the little bit of a lighter side of Mr. Krabs, because you always saw him as just a money grubbing crab, super greedy, money, all that stuff. So it was kind of nice to actually see he actually cared that much about SpongeBob, that he would be sad about it. And I know he wanted him to just make food and make money, but it's just still you got to get a little bit of that reassurance of how much he actually needed him and how much he liked him. And it showed you in that way when they become clouds reaching from the chum bucket and the Krusty Krab of their connection and all that is so important. So I was I like seeing that. I thought it was fun. I think it was heartwarming, I would say. Should it be at number 9? I don't think so. I don't think it should be even on this list, really. I mean, in terms of comedy, and in terms of looniness, and in terms of idiocy, it's not my favorite one. It's not my it isn't one that I would watch immediately, or just pick it and watch it. It definitely is a nice one, but it isn't a go-to episode, I think. So I wouldn't put it in the top 15 for sure. I wouldn't even put it at number 9. I think that's a bit high. But in all regards, it's a great episode. It's fun. It's heartwarming. It's reassuring that he's not all an evil guy. He has feelings for SpongeBob. He likes SpongeBob enough to want to get him back and care about him and all that. So it's just yeah. And it makes Plankton look like a villain, which is always fun to make, because Plankton as a villain, I mean, the voice of Plankton, whoever voices Plankton, I can't remember his name, but he does it so good. He also does Larry the Lobster too, but him as Plankton, as just being this little speck of plankton, it's just so funny. So the more Plankton, the better, I think, in SpongeBob. So that's a good episode. Wouldn't put it in the top 15 for me, but it's definitely decent. It's a good episode. Number 8 is the Fry Cook Games. I love this episode. I love it because it actually shows you how Patrick and SpongeBob could actually be forced fed through Plankton and Mr. Krabs that they don't like each other. And it's a really fun, funny concept. It's, they have to compete in these Fry Cook games against each other, one for the Krusty Krab, one for the Chum Bucket, and it's just funny because of at first they don't really take it all seriously. They're just kind of having fun with it. And then the more and more they go on, Krabs and Plankton are in their ear, he doesn't like you, never respected you. He always thought you were stupid. It's when that joke of him erasing the Pat in his name and his name just being Rick. It's just funny. It's iconic. It's a great episode. It's fun to watch. It's it feels like an event because they're at the Olympics or whatever of the Fry Cook Games. It's funny to watch. It's cool. They get that big fight at the end where they just massively grow muscles, they're all buff and shit. So it's just it's a fun episode. I enjoy that quite a bit. I think 8 is a pretty good place for it. I think that's when you think about Patrick and SpongeBob and their relationship and their friendship, you always got to go back to that time where they actually didn't like each other. They hated each other in the Fry Cook Games. So it's your friendship's always got peaks and valleys. And this was a big valley for them, if you would say. This was a dark time for SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship, and being able to watch it with the Fry Cook games is just, it's fun. It's funny to watch, and I enjoyed it. I think it's a good spot for this episode. I really, really dig it, and I know that a lot of people also like it. I mean, the whole joke of my name is not Rick. I mean, I've heard that so many times, so it's so funny. It resonated. It's just a fun episode. Number 7, though. This is where I really don't agree with this at all. Number 7 was in Season 3, Episode 10, and it was the Krusty Krab training video. I remember when this came out, and I was just like, as a kid, I was still kind of like actually confused of why this was an episode, or why it was. Like, I just didn't like it. For one, it was kind of funny with the whole poop thing. People order our patties. I mean, legendary. Great acronym. But it was something about it. It just didn't sit with me. I was like kind of burned at the end, to be honest with you. And I know it's a joke, is not knowing the secret formula of the Krabby Patty. But it's just like at the end, I was just like, really? Did the TV cut out? Did it just like something happen? But you go back nowadays, it's like, I haven't bought the goddamn DVD of the season. See, I didn't buy it, but my brother has it. We have SpongeBob seasons 1 through 5 on DVD. And even then, it wasn't cut. It was cut out. So you know it wasn't the goddamn TV's fault or the episode's fault that day. It was the episode. It just ended right there. And the secret formula, and it just ends. It just ends. So in that way, in that aspect, it's brilliant. But it also is kind of I don't know. It was just kind of like, for me, it was just a placement episode. Like, they didn't have anything really, so they just made this out of thin air, I think. I don't know. It didn't really sit well with me as a SpongeBob episode. It was just kind of a placeholder, I thought. I mean, if you liked it, I mean, like, good on you, but I really didn't like it that much. I thought it was kind of just a waste of time, pretty much. So this being at number 7 shocked me. I was just like, there is no way that they actually think this. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, it does have the funny, like, the CG art of the Krabby Patty and making it with all the narrator's hand and all that. Him talking to the narrator, breaking the fourth wall. It's funny in that sense, but in all, for me, it's just like the ending and I don't know. It's just like, it was just like like I said, a placeholder. Just, it's fine. Definitely not a top 15 for me. Not for sure. Not a number 7. I mean, like, come on. So yeah, that's number 7 for them. The Krusty Krab training video. Number 6, we got Frankendoodle. I thought that this one was decent, and it was creative with the pencil, like the pencil coming out of the through the sea from somebody dropping a drawing. That it was like a magical enchanted pencil that would bring to life whatever you drew. Thought that was funny, a cool concept, but I thought that the Frankendoodle character was just, I don't know, I thought he was just annoying. Really, I mean, like, kind of scary too, actually, if you think about it. Kind of creepy. Like, I remember, like, kind of like being like a little scared from that as a kid. Like, I don't know, it was just weird. It was just, a little bit creepy, I think. I don't know why they put this at 6. I think that it's I don't know, the doppelganger type of thing is just kind of, it's interesting, it's funny, but it was just, for me, it was just I don't know, kind of creepy in a way. Number 6, I think is pretty high for that. I wouldn't put that at number 6 for sure. But if you like it, I understand why you like it. It is kind of funny in a way, with a creepy way. But it's also, I don't know. For me, it just didn't really hit that well. I wouldn't put it at number 6 for sure. However, though, there was another creepy episode that I actually enjoyed quite a bit. That's number 5, and that is the Graveyard Shift. This one, to me, is an all-time classic. I mean, all-time classic SpongeBob episode. So you got SpongeBob locked away with Squidward, running the graveyard shift, even though that nobody's going to buy a Krabby Patty then. But, Mr. Krabs is trying to be greedy and get all the money that he can get. So, that aspect of them working overtime or through the night is funny. It's silly. All the, the antics of them just, like, being, like, throwing out the trash or being scared that the lights go out. It's a funny episode where you kind of actually see, like, oh yeah, SpongeBob and Squidward, they need each other, kind of. Squidward is always a level-headed, nobody likes him, but he is kind of like the more reasonable character. He's rational, he's realistic, and seeing that with SpongeBob is just, it's always fun to see that. See the balance of the idiocy with the realistic type of approach to things it's nice to see, and it makes for a good episode. And it's also a creepy episode too, but I enjoyed this one a bit more because it's always like that mystery of who is the hash slinging slasher. Like, who is that? Also, what a great name too. But it's like at the end of the episode, it's a funny reveal, and then especially of who's flickering on the lights. What was that? I mean, you just as a kid, you're watching the episode, and everything kind of like looks like fine, like in the world of SpongeBob. But then you actually get a pan over to somebody who's like an actual person in like makeup of like this 1920s style horror flick, flicking on a light. Like, I didn't even, as a kid, I was like, what the hell is that? What was his name? Nosferatu, I think was his name. But I was like, what on earth is that? Why is it even in the episode? But again, you watch that today, as a 27-year-old guy, or even if just being older than what you were when you saw it. Just watching that, and it's just like the absolutely nonsense of having that person flick on the lights is just so funny and so genius that it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that they did that in a kid's show back then. This is season 2, so this is like maybe 2000, 2001. So it's just like, oh my God. Like, it was just so funny. It's even funnier now when you look back at it. It withstands the test of time of like the writers had to be like, what are we going to put for flickering the lights? Well, how about Nosferatu? Who the fuck is that? When you think about it, it's like, what the fuck? An actual person? Like, I don't know, man. But I just remember watching that and like being like, what the fuck? It catches you off guard for sure. It catches you off guard, but it's welcoming and it's funny and it's enjoyable. It's a great episode in my opinion. Having it at number 5 is a good place. I think I would have put that. I think I would have put it there, but it's a good placement. It's a great episode. Great episode. Number 4 is Chocolate with Nuts, and this is when SpongeBob and Patrick got to make a quick buck. It almost kind of feels like like a good scam episode from Ed, and Eddie a bit. They're selling chocolates out of these bags. They get duped to buy bigger bags and then bigger bags and then bigger bags by another salesman who dupes them a couple times. And especially, it's so funny because like the salesman who does that is like, well, he's playing the character who's like got broken bones and broken limbs and all that. And it's so funny because like it kind of like shows you how like some of these salesmen will go to so many lengths to just scam somebody. Like these poor, innocent chocolate salesmen just trying to make a buck. And this guy just keeps selling them these bags that are claimed to be better, bigger, a better zipper, whatever you want to call it. It's that running joke of that kind of adult humor that just kind of peeks in through that SpongeBob episode. That just is just so funny to watch play out. And you get the guy who just keeps yelling chocolate just because he's so obsessed with it. He's like, I'll buy them all. And then you get the grandmothers that are just like one is just an old fish-looking grandmother. The other one's like a goddamn like shriveled up worm. It's like, oh my God, this is so funny. But that's a good episode. I don't think I would have rated it at a 4 though. I mean, like I still think that the night shift is a little bit better, I think, in my opinion. But regardless, chocolate. The guy just yelling chocolate is iconic in SpongeBob history. It just is. But again, I think for me, like the guy just selling the bags to those people and just scamming them, it was just so funny. Even today, like it's even funnier now. But it's like, oh man, what a great episode. What an iconic SpongeBob and Patrick duping episode. Like they just got duped that entire episode. And at the end of the day, they still win because that guy just buys them all. So it's funny, kind of relatable, especially like if you're like back in the day, if you were a kid watching that, you could be like, oh, it's kind of like selling like, selling cookies or whatever, selling food, going like door to door to try to sell like, I don't know, tickets to something, raffle tickets, whatever. I remember like in high school people did that, but I never did that. But I just kind of like imagined it would be like sort of like that, being like a young kid trying to go door to door to sell stuff. I don't know. But it's just relatable. It's funny. It's loony. it's just a great episode. But I like the night shift better. But this is a solid episode for their number 4. This was their number 4 on their list of 15. Number 3 is Pizza Delivery. Great episode, absolutely great episode. I mean, again, the combination between SpongeBob and Squidward, it's on full effect here. You know, you got the seriousness of Squidward, the childness of SpongeBob just trying to deliver the Krusty Krab pizza, and trying to, Mr. Krabs just trying to make pizza a thing at the Krusty Krab is also super funny. And, just the whole thing of like this great voyage of trying to get to this person's house, and just how SpongeBob is like, we got to get their pizza there. Squidward's like, I don't even give a shit about this. So he just turn around and fuck this and whatever. But SpongeBob's determination is like, well, we got to get it there. Come on, Mr. Krabs said we got it. The customer already paid. And just like how much he doesn't care about it, that gets whipped around in a tornado. The rock, that's a car that runs over Squidward. It's just so funny, and just how much they hate each other, but they love each other in the end, because when they get to the door, spoilers, he's like, where's my drink? I'm not going to pay for this without my drink. SpongeBob but bursts into tears. Then Squidward sticks up for SpongeBob. Was like, fuck you, dude. How much we traveled for that pizza. Shoves it in his face, and then that's the end of at the end of the episode. It's like, oh yeah, now we're all friends again. Like, as much as like SpongeBob annoys Squidward, it's like, bro, that's my boy right there. Like, you're not going to talk to my boy like that. I got his back. And it's just, it's funny. It's funny. It's got a lot of good friendship, got a lot of good jokes in there. It's a good episode. Number 3, I think that's actually a good spot for it. I mean, it's not like a laugh out loud, gut busting episode, but it is like one of those staples of SpongeBob and Squidward's relationship and their friendship. And you can kind of see it full fleshed out in that one episode. So I feel like that's a great place for it. Number 3, I think that's it's a good spot for it. I can't complain. I think it's a good spot. Now we're going to move on to number 2. Number 2 is Ripped Pants. Y'all know this. SpongeBob and Patrick are tanning on the beach, Goo Lagoon, with Sandy. I think she's there. And SpongeBob bends over and accidentally rips his pants at the Goo Lagoon. Everybody laughs at him. He's embarrassed. Patrick is laughing. Sandy's laughing. Everybody's laughing at him. And he just goes into this kind of like, this exile. Like, he's got to get away from everybody because they just keep laughing at him. And it is kind of relatable in a way. Like, you do something embarrassing, and not necessarily rip your pants, but like something like that as you're a kid, and everybody laughs at you, and it's just like, you got to learn how to laugh that off. So what does he do? He makes a song called Ripped Pants, and throughout the song, he just keeps ripping his pants even more. So it's just like, you got to be able to laugh that off and just like kind of like make it a fun experience. And in a way, it is super funny, but also like the song that they put in that is also very, very good. So it's like, it's a double whammy episode. It's like, it's got a good song, it's got jokes, a funny premise, a funny, relatable experience, I think. And it's just, overcoming a bad moment in your life, an embarrassing situation where you're just like, oh yeah, I ripped my pants. Let's make fun of it now. Let's just move on. It happened. I was sad. Now we just got to move through it. And it's a classic episode, I think, of SpongeBob, of depicting like something that, you could probably face in real life. Something super embarrassing, which is kind of can happen to everybody. So in all, solid episode. Number 2, I think, is a bit high, I think, but it definitely is like a rememberable episode of SpongeBob. You're like, oh yeah, Ripped Pants. Ripped Pants is like it's a staple of SpongeBob. So that's their number 2. And their number 1 is Band Geeks. I love this episode. I adore it. Should it be number 1 though? I don't think so. And here's why. I think that it's a funny episode with, everybody trying to be in a band for Squidward because of Squilliam. His arch nemesis, his arch rival from college. He's successful. Squidward is working at the Krusty Krab. Squilliam has all the popularity, the all his friends and all that. And Squidward has SpongeBob and Patrick, basically. He's like, well, I can conduct a band that'll be better than your band. And through all the trial and errors of, like, is mayonnaise an instrument? Is this an instrument? You know, Patrick being put through a trombone. You know, them marching on the street, and then two baton wielders just propel all the way up, and they actually explode and die. Somebody playing taps, and Squidward just laying on the ground as that person plays taps. So those two fish died, apparently. Hilarious, by the way. Hilarious. But also kind of dark. Something that you wouldn't expect out of a kid's show. Like, you hear them play actual taps. Like, uh-oh. It's funny, but it's also a little bit dark, which I do enjoy in SpongeBob. I do, because they do it so well, so subtle, so like, it's a bit dark there, but it is funny. And it's got the song at the end, Sweet, Sweet Victory. Yeah, it's iconic. Everybody plays that. Everybody knows that. They played at the goddamn Super Bowl one time. For me, it was a letdown, but it was still, they tried. But it was fun. It's a fun episode. Again, it isn't my favorite just because of, I think that others are better. There's just others that are just, that they're, in my opinion, that are just better. I think I would probably rate this at a number 5 if I were to rank my list. I won't today, but if I did, I'd probably give it like at a number. No, I think a number 6. I think actually, it just outside of the top 5. I think in my opinion. Again, solid, funny, dark, nautical. It's a funny episode. The rivalry between Squidward and Squilliam is good. Squidward wins. Sweet, sweet victory. It's a good episode, man. But for me, I don't know. I don't think I can put it at number 1. I just don't think I could do it. But don't get me wrong. It's a great episode. It's got like one of the better, or if not the best, SpongeBob songs of all time, I think. I mean, for real. At least a song played in SpongeBob. Being like conducted by Squidward, the band, everybody playing their instruments, SpongeBob singing, Sandy on the guitar, Patrick on the drums, Plankton on the keyboard. It's really funny. Good episode. Again, not my number 1, but a very, very, very good episode. A great episode, actually. It is a great. So that's the list of Variety's top 15 SpongeBob episodes, ranked by, again, I'll give them their names as much as I butcher them. Very sorry about this, Variety, but I will give you credit. Jordan Moreau, Katsi Stefan, and David Viramontes. Thank you for that list. It was very entertaining and very fun, and opening a lot of conversation with myself about SpongeBob. Now, I already read the honorable mentions that they put there, but I had some of myself that I thought that should have been on that list, or even considered as an honorable mention. For instance, Pickles in Season 1 with Bubble Bass. How is that not a top episode? I mean, we're talking about SpongeBob at his breaking point of quitting the Krusty Krab because he couldn't get a burger right. A customer's order right. He forgot the pickles. And he goes into this despair of where he cannot make a Krabby Patty anymore. It's so kind of relatable in real life. Not necessarily like fast food workers, but like anything else that you do. Like you mess something up and you're like, you question your ability to do that job or to do that thing that you do, that you've been doing so well forever. And it's just like a mental battle between him and Bubble Bass. And it turns out that Bubble Bass was just hiding and trolling him the entire time. But it was just like, how can SpongeBob overcome this mental battle between him and Bubble Bass? And it was just, I don't know what it was like. It almost felt like it was like a Rocky movie to me. It was so like, because he's like just concentrating on how to make the best Krabby Patty. And just like at the very end when he just like that music kicks in, he's just like, I'll have a Krabby Patty, whatever his order is with pickles and all that. And it's such a funny like one-on-one episode, like a duel almost. It's like it becomes like a Western standoff in a way, with the music and like the just the cues, the tension between the two characters. And that was really like SpongeBob's like first like actual enemy at his job. I think it was Bubble Bass, I think. So that was just, for me, that episode is just timeless. of just remembering the pickles and all that, because that, and also like what a relatable thing, like to people that go in to get like fast food burgers, like they forgot the pickles, and it's just like, what if you were on the side of the passionate fry cook that was like, oh my god, I forgot the pickles. What that could do to his mindset and to his shock his reality. It was just so funny. So that's one of my honorable mentions that should have made the list, I think. Another one was Muscle Bob Buff Pants. I mean, the actual thought of getting inflatable arms that just get all muscular, because, again, his arms are twigs. He's got no muscle. He's a goddamn sponge. So, like, just the fact that he bought gloves that could inflate to being muscular arms was just absolutely funny. And they were pink. They weren't even yellow. It's like, and they were just like saying, like, dude, you're fucking jacked. That was so freaking funny. I couldn't, like, just the whole concept of it. And again, he couldn't even lift a goddamn stick with them if he even tried. And at the end of the day, he just, they exploded and they just deflated and they just, like, spun around like balloons. It was just so funny. Like, again, like, it's just like, it goes to the, like, how far would you go as a person to look the way that you want to? But at the end of the day, you can't fake it at the end. It's just so funny. It's a classic, like, thing that you overthink something and try to do it and try to look good or try to look better or whatever, and it just fall flat in front of your face. It's just so relatable. But the fact that he actually buys inflatable arms that'll give him the strength, that he thought that would give him the strength to lift weights, basically, is just absolutely comedy gold. Comedy gold. And then another one that I had, the last one that I had, was Pretty Patties. I love this one because it is just a classic of Mr. Krabs trying to get in on SpongeBob's business, and it just, like, not even favoring him. Or no. Like, everybody loves it with SpongeBob, but Mr. Krabs takes over. It's like, okay, it should work, but everybody's got, like, this tongue that's just discolored. It's got a pattern. It's got polka dots. It's glow in the dark. It just backfires on him, and it's just so funny to watch that because it shows you how Mr. Krabs is so greedy and will do anything for the money, even if it's going to be a bad thing, and even if it's not a good idea, not a well thought out idea, and you just see, like, him crash and burn, and it's just, even though how much I love Mr. Krabs as a character, just watching that happen with the whole Pretty Patty thing, it's just funny to watch and fun to see. I love it. I love that episode. And the fact that that's not even an honorable mention for the Variety article was like, really? Like, that one was, like, super funny, I thought. And that would be one of mine, I think. Good episode. Solid episode. Solid episode of, like, Mr. Krabs, like, just not getting it right. Not getting it right, not thinking it all the way through. And just an idea that sounded good at the beginning, but it wouldn't last very long. Another relatable episode, I think. Another relatable topic. And just being, again, the relatability of the SpongeBob episodes to real life. The ratio of them being, like, so relatable and unrelatable is just astoundingly relatable. It just is in the favor. I mean, it's just so funny to watch. It's so much nonsense and so... It's why I love SpongeBob. Now, did SpongeBob kind of go on for too long? I think it did. I'm going to say, like, after season 6, it was kind of, like, just not as good, I thought. It was kind of like, it was more dumb than witty, I think, and more dumb than, like, smarter comedy. It was just kind of like slapstick comedy, I think. Like, it was like, this is a kid's show. We'll make it a kid's show. And that's it. Like, I like it when you can, like, make it a kid's show, but also give it a little bit of adult humor, darker humor. I think that it makes it more a smarter comedy, more of a more engaging comedy, more of a outreaching comedy that can actually, like, touch the hearts of other people other than kids. Like, I mean, like, if you are babysitting a child or you're babysitting a kid, it's always nice to have a cartoon on that kind of, like, can cater to both people, a kid and an adult. And I think SpongeBob did that very, very well back in the good old days of, like, up to season 5, I think. Then after that, it just kind of got, I don't know, old, stale, dumb. But we'll all still have the good old days, the good old episodes. And that's why I love those episodes, man. They're just so relatable, so funny, so comedically, in my eyes, just brilliant. They just capture so many good, relatable things that you would just have during life. And the characters were perfect. They were perfect characters, and they were funny. They were unique. They were different. An amazing setting. Under the sea, in a pineapple, and a rock, and a goddamn Easter Island head house for Squidward. It's just great. A great show. Fantastic cartoon. Staying in the realm of entertainment and movies, I got to see the Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime Video this past week for the 4th of July. Not for the 4th of July, but like before it. If you don't know, it's a movie that stars Chris Pratt. It's an action alien invasion movie. It's a summer action flick. It's cheesy. It's overdramatic at parts, but I think that it's got a good story in it. It's about a father and a daughter, mainly about their relationship, and like he has to go to this war in the future, which, by the way, the time travel and all that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but for me, it didn't have to. I just kind of just said, okay, well, this is it. It's just a one-off movie. Give it to me. Let's just have some fun. So I thought that was fun. It was engaging. It was got some good action. It's got some good acting for the most part. There's some lines in the script or in the movie that just kind of are like, what the fuck did he just say? Or what did she say? It's just kind of weird at times, but it does its job. I think it entertains people. It's fun. It's funny at times. It's got a good cast. It's got a good again, story with the father and the daughter, Chris Pratt and his daughter. It's fun. It's energetic. It's about aliens, so I'm in. So in all, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was good. I didn't think that it deserved the hate that it got from critics and other people that saw it. I think that it was much better than what they said, honestly. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be delusional. It could be like a fanboy, whatever you want to call me. But I just thought I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't. So, it definitely feels like it would be like a Amazon Prime type movie, in my opinion. Some of the effects look kind of bad. It was shot a little weird in some parts. I don't know if that's just because that's their direction. This is the director's first live action movie, I believe. His name is Matt McKay, I think, and he directed the last movie. I believe that he directed. I mean, let me look it up, because I believe that this is his first live action film. I believe that he directed the Lego Batman movie, which, in my opinion, I thought that was really good. But let me just look up this real quick. The Tomorrow War. Yeah, there it is. Directed by Chris McKay. So I got the first name wrong. Chris McKay directed it, and I believe this is his first live action. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. My brother saw it too. He enjoyed it. Sometimes I feel like the movie kind of dreads on a bit. It does feel a little bit longer than it should be, I think. It is a 2 hour and 12-minute movie, which was kind of 2 hours and 20-minute movie, which I thought was a little long, I think it was. But I thought it was good, though. It definitely does go into areas that I did not expect. I will say that the trailers do a good job of not giving away the entire plot, which I am a big fan of. The last thing I want to see is a trailer just give the entire plot away of a movie or a show. This one, it does a good job of deferring that. I mean, there are some parts of the movie that are just like, okay, what's going to happen next? Because I've already seen the parts of the trailer that I've already seen. I've already seen them. So what's going to happen next? So it does a good job of that aspect. It doesn't give it away the entire movie or the structure of it or the plot, really, how it goes. So that's a big plus. It's a really, really big plus, because there was actually parts of the movie I was just like, what happens next? What are we doing? What's the main goal here? So I enjoyed that part of it. And I think that if you watch it, you might be surprised about that. You might think that it's going to go this way, but it goes the other way. So I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing that's worth knowing, that it's not going to be as generic as you might think. As much as you might want to say that from the trailers, or for who's in it, or just for the entire concept of it, give it a shot. I think you'll like it. I think you'll enjoy it, and I think it's it's not it's not like an amazing movie. I thought it was good, but I didn't think that it was like it's not amazing. I'll just say that. So in the end of the day, I tweeted this out back when I saw it, like on July 3rd. No, July 4th, actually. Sorry, July 4th. I gave it a 7.3 out of 10. It's just good. It's a good movie. I thought it was good. I mean, like, again, don't take my opinion for yours. You check it out. You watch it yourself. You see how you like it. You see how, you feel about it. If you enjoy Chris Pratt, which I do, I've enjoyed him since the Parks and Recreation when he played Andy Dwyer. I'm guilty. I just enjoy the guy. I don't know. He's fun to watch. He kind of does play the Chris Pratt character, just how he is. But I feel like that's what I like about him. I enjoy that. I mean, I feel like he does that. But also, who I love. I fucking love Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx kind of does that for me too. He just got that swagger type character that I feel like he does in a lot of his movies. Not all of them, for sure. Not like Ray, but definitely like if I watch like Django Unchained, and then like kind of like Baby Driver, it's kind of like the same thing. It's got a lot of swagger, but that's why I like watching his movies. I like the Jamie Foxx character. I just like it. He's so cool. He's hip. He's got swagger. I enjoy that. That's why I love Django and I love Baby Driver, because of him. So it's like, I can love this because of Chris Pratt. I like him as Star-Lord. I like him as in this, in Parks and Rec. I like it. I don't know what to say. I just like it. So I think you should check it out. I think you'll have some fun. It is on Amazon Prime, so you can just, if you have it, you can just watch it right now. I mean, like, again, it is worth the time, I think, because you can just watch it on Amazon Prime. You can just stream it right then and there. But I don't think this movie would have done good in theaters. I got to be honest with you. I don't think that it's got the legs for it. I really don't. I just think that it's good in some, great in some parts, really good with the main story with the characters. But I just feel like it just doesn't really got that punch that I think would have made the theaters pop. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I felt about it. And that's the review for the Tomorrow War. Now, before we close, I mean, I got to do it. I mean, I have to do it. You know what time it is, everybody. It's time for sports. Again, I think I gave you, I'm at a minute 17 in this podcast already, so I kind of gave you a lot more than I thought I would already. But, we got to talk about the finals and what's happening there. I mean, if you're not watching these NBA finals, I don't blame you. Because if you look at it, Milwaukee versus Phoenix, not a matchup that you want to, might want to tune in for. But if you're not an NBA fan, I get it. I understand. If you are, though, you're going to get some of the better basketball, I think, than you're going to get with like the Lakers, and the Brooklyn Nets. I just think that. I don't know what it is, but I just think that Phoenix is just playing out of their goddamn minds right now. They have it going on. They just got it. They have everything going. They're up 1-0 right now over the Bucks. Game 2 is playing right now as I'm recording, so this is going to be an outdated take. But I just feel like the Phoenix Suns at this moment have it in the bag. They have it. They look so good together. Ayton, Booker, Paul, they feed off of each other. They know each other so well. They trust each other. They have it all. This is their time. Every other person on that team does their job well, but Ayton, Booker, and Paul, they got it dialed in, and this is their time. This is Chris Paul's time right here and there. Right here, right now. This is his time. He has arrived. Finally, after 16 seasons, I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to get the championship, and he's going to win it finally because he has the team to do it. They trust each other. They love each other. This is it, man. I just feel it. I don't think that Milwaukee could win more than 2 games if they even do win a game. I mean, Suns in 4 is a big slogan right now. It's a big saying. Everybody's thinking it. Everybody's saying it. Everybody's like wanting it pretty much. But I just think that Milwaukee can kind of sneak 1 or 2 in. Again, I don't see them winning more than 2 games in this series. I just feel like that Phoenix is just that dominant, and that just, I don't know, they just dominate the game. Like whenever like they go on, like Milwaukee will go on a run, Phoenix will just cap it down and punch back and just be like, no. You're not going to win this. This is ours for the taking. So I don't know. I feel like, just they're gonna take it all. I got that feeling, man. Whenever I watched them, it's just that vibe. Chris Paul wasn't doing well in the first quarter, I think, first half. Then he just turned it on. He just got better. He scored 32 points, and he's like 36, I believe. Let me look up his age. Chris Paul's age, he's got to be at least 36. He's got to be 36, 35. Chris Paul age. There we go. 36 years old. So he's 36, and he's playing this well at this age. I mean, like, he's doing everything. He's not like being super athletic. He's not making all these crazy shots. He's just playing his game as a point guard. And he's doing it so well that he just feeds Ayton, feeds Booker, feeds Payne. He does it. It's beautiful what he's doing right now. Say what you want about Chris Paul, about he could be kind of a dick, whatever you want to say, but he's earning this right now. He's earning it. First and foremost, congratulations to Chris Paul, because I truly believe he will win this finals. If the Bucks win more than 2 games, I will be surprised. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't either. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win more than 2. But if they win 3, I'll be surprised. If they win the series, I'll be fucking mad. I'll just tell you that right now. I'll be mad. Because talk about the all-time party poopers will the Bucks be, because everybody can feel it around the sports world. This is Chris Paul's year. Everybody can feel it. Me, my brother, friends, everybody can. We can just feel it. This is his year. So I don't know. I think they're gonna win I think they'll win in 5, potentially 6, not 4. I don't think 4. But I wouldn't be surprised though. 4 is possible. Suns and 4 is a big thing going on. If they feed into that a bit and they just take from that, like Suns and 4 for the finals, that could also be a possibility. But we'll see. We'll see, man. Last thing I want to touch upon is the Euro 2020. The final is set. The final is going to be England and Italy. In the final, I feel like England is on point. Is got a good stretch of games going on. A lot of good trust. A lot of good build up. A lot of good building of that team, though. From game 1 of this tournament to being just like disjointed, no chemistry, a lot of egos, a lot of maybe not knowing how to play together. The manager of this team, Gareth Southgate, has done a great job of settling everybody down, putting the right lineups and the right people in the right position, and just going forward. Forget about the criticisms. Forget about all that. Just move on and try to win that game. And they have been. I mean, Denmark did score first in that last game, and I was just kind of like scared. I was like, oh, is this it? Is this Denmark's Christian Eriksen fueled tournament? Is this going to be the one to take down England? It clearly wasn't. So, congratulations to England and Italy for making it. Italy beat Spain in PKs. That was a pretty close game. Italy looked very good at the start, kind of slacked off a bit in the second half, or didn't have possession of the ball that much. They did go to penalty kicks, and Italy won. So the Italians move on. Italy is looking very good. They're looking very strong. And I think that Italy is going to be a bit of a big challenge to England. But I feel like England playing this at home at Wembley Stadium is going to be very tough for the Italians to beat them. Just because I feel like home field advantage in this tournament for England has just been a big positive, a big lift up, a big, not a crutch, but a big advantage for England. I feel like this is the time that they break that streak of losing all these major tournaments and just finally breaking through at home at Wembley Stadium in London. This has got to be the time where it's coming home. I feel like it's coming home this Sunday. They got everything going for them. It pretty much is their game to lose. If Italy beats them, right? If Italy wins, it's going to be, I believe, on England, because I think that Italy can definitely be beaten. But if England loses, it's going to be on them, I think. I just think they have everything going for them. Everything is on their side. The players are playing good. They're getting results. They're scoring goals. They're getting penalty calls. Maybe some that they shouldn't have gotten that last game. But everything is falling in their place. And I just feel like it's their tournament to win, and also theirs to lose. So the final is going to be good. Italy versus England, July 11th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. and it's going to be a good game. It's going to be good. I can't wait to see what happens. I feel like it's going to go all the way to 120 minutes plus penalty kicks, but I could be wrong. I just hope it's a good game. I really, really do. With that being said, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching this podcast. Again, you can find The Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva on everything, on Apple Podcast, Spotify. Listen there. Give it a listen. Give it a rate. Give it a review on Apple Podcast. Just listen on Spotify, whatever. Watch it on YouTube, even though I don't have video yet. You can watch it there. You can like. You can subscribe. And, everything is on there. You can find me at on all those platforms at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. And I will see you guys next week.